who teaches you who you are sexually? Or are you looking at there's some holes in this house? Are you looking at that? You know what I'm saying?
I think it
So
comes from a balance. For me, I had cousins and aunts, and I was the youngest for a while. And I was thinking about this earlier. I think I had heard all of my older cousins have sex before. So like where they were babysitting.
Mm.
So just that, and then on top of the porn, and then I had cousins that would say, when you ride it like this, or don't do this, or don't do that, or do it like this, and that they were very forthcoming about how to please a man when it comes to sex. So when I had sex, I was kind of ready. Now the gripping and squeezing and all the extra stuff I kind of learned along the way, just experience based.
wow. What so this is going into how does the imposter fall into this section, Felicia? How does it fall into sex? How does that syndrome fall
Yeah.
there?
It falls in the self doubt of your own sexuality in regards to, let's say, if you did learn from all the media stuff, right? How it looks. You got to be big booty, big breasts, fat. Like you think there's this video vixen type image that you have to be. So then if you don't meet that or in the bedroom, you're like, well, oh, is that good or whatever? And then say like if he's say if he's a quiet one, right? Like how you're saying you doesn't say much, right? That doesn't mean he's not enjoying it, but then you think like, well, if you're not like the dude that you saw on TV or whatever,
Mm.
you start doubting like, well, maybe I'm not doing a good job, or heaven forbid, if he doesn't, orgasm like at the same time that you do, oh, I'm such a failure. I'm doing this wrong. Like there is all those different aspects of it. But again, it comes down to, am I in it just to get mine and I'm out? Or is this
Mhm.
someone that I'm emotionally connected with that I'm wanting to please? And he will be like, yes, I want to commit to this long term.
I don't think
All
I've
that.
ever had a conversation with a man about actually getting into a relationship. It's just like you start hanging out, then you start hunching and having sex, and then you just kind of together.
Yeah.
And they don't want to let you
Mm-mm.
go. Then they go crazy. Then they start stalking.
Girl, where you be
Yeah.
at? Now I'm about to ask you where you at, where the people start stalking you about it and everything.
Listen, my ex husband, the guy that I last had sex with, I've had at least three or four guys try to either snatch me up, stalk, or just act crazy when I didn't want to have sex no more.
Wow.
So that's half the reason why I am celibate now, because I'm like kind of scared to have sex at this point. Because I just don't want nobody else to try to go crazy on me. Like I'm scared that I might get a serial killer or somebody that's gonna be like,
Well,
"Bitch,
don't say you're
you
scared he
can't
gonna do
Yeah.
you
that.
can't go nowhere. If you leave me, I'm
So
gonna kill
Dr.
you." I
Casey
don't
is
want no
that
Ike Turner.
shit. She is that shit. Y'all never seen that? It was I can't remember, my husband had sent it to me. It was like this whole comedy like routine that this girl did. And that's what she was talking about. No, yeah, it was a girl. And it's like that's what she was talking about in regards to, oh, I don't have the kill him type of,
Mm-hmm.
pussy kind of thing. It's just like, I might have a, hey, I'm gonna pretend to fight kind of pussy, but I ain't going to jail over it. So way Dr. Casey is talking, like she has that to where people just go,
Hey, they made that Master P had that song, didn't he? You got that killer pussy, killer. Yeah.
Okay. I
I
didn't
didn't
hear
know that I had
that
it
one.
either until I had it, and then it was like, hold on now, I don't know if I want this, because
yeah.
if it's gonna be unsafe, then maybe it's
That's
not
what,
the
and
right
that's
man.
the thing. It's like when you have that, like then you have to be what you're saying more responsible with that because it's like she has a certain type of energy or vibe. But then let's just say in that example, somebody that used to be with Dr. Casey, right? Then now you get a new chick, and you're like, well, Dad, I'm still over here with Dr. Casey over here, but now the new girl is like, well, what was she doing? How do I figure it out? You see what I'm saying? So then you become this imposter when you compare yourself to, she's just unique, special, could be one in a million or whatever. But when they have it, they want to have it. but the imposter would then show up to where like, dang, I ain't gonna never, you know, be that
So
person
the
or
person
be
trying
that.
to compare would be considered the imposter, like trying
Yeah.
to be comparative to whatever their best or whatever their.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to say I'm nobody's best, but I do
No,
feel like you can knock it
but
right
the
out.
reality, but here's the thing, real talk. Reality is if you have that ability, like I said, if you learned that, you're that. It is that. But that's what I'm saying. A normal, I don't want to say normal, just a woman that if they don't have all those different type of experiences, that's what they're always going to be chasing. Am I enough? Am I enough? And
See,
it's
but I
like,
didn't really know that women had well, after
yeah,
watching Twitter porn, I have realized that I've seen women on there doing sexual things that I'd be wet from watching, and I'm thinking like, damn, her pussy, like, what is wrong with her? But I didn't realize that was a thing. I would hear people say like, oh, her, and I would be like, nah, you can't be like, it's no way that somebody can have a dry vagina. Like, it's no way. But
Hmm.
But do
I
you
guess
think that's because they don't know themselves? They're not intuitive with
Or an emotional connection.
oh
Too.
yeah, like there's the disconnection there.
it
There's
may
a
be a real live chemical imbalance. Like we are all literally created differently. So
mhm,
even though we all have vaginas, your vagina might hit a little bit differently than my vagina.
Mhm,
Or like and I don't know what makes it different other than our chemical imbalance. I mean, like we
right.
are all chemical. Like we all have a chemical genetic makeup. And like when we have depression, it's a chemical imbalance. When you have even if you have hyperarousal, it's still considered a chemical imbalance. So it sometimes I looked up um sexuality a while back, and even like to be androgynous or to be gay, that can be a literal chemical imbalance where your
Mm,
chemical makeup is just different. So I don't know if it has to do with the person, or if it's literally just that person might not have a wet vagina, or that person may not get as aroused by the same type of things that the next person gets aroused by.